Good morning, Eunice. Welcome back to Cardinal Radio. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026.
It is a crisp morning out there.
It is. So if you're just tuning in, maybe you're grabbing that first cup of coffee, sitting at the kitchen table.
Or maybe you're already in the truck.
Yeah, already in the truck, heading out to the fields or, the patch. Whatever you're doing, you are the heartbeat of this town.
You really are.
You're the people who keep the lights on, keep the roads paved. And because you are that heartbeat, you deserve to know what's going on in the brain of this city.
And by the brain, you mean City Hall.
I mean City Hall. And sometimes the signals coming from that brain are a little, well, they're mixed.
Mixed is a very, very polite way to put it.
It is. Look, we have a specific mission here at Cardinal Radio. We aren't here to just read you the press releases.
No.
We aren't here to tell you that the city council met and, had cookies. We are here for the paper trail.
That's the key. The paper trail.
We want to know what happens when the recording stops. We want to know what's in those emails that get sent at midnight.
Because that's where the real governance happens, right? It's not on the podium. It's not in the prepared statement.
No.
It's in the PDF attachments. The paper trail is, I like to think of it as the fossil record of the truth.
I like that. A fossil record.
Yeah, I mean, people can spin a story, memories fade, but a timestamp on an email, that's forever.
Exactly. And today,
yeah.
Oh man, today we have a fossil record that is going to make your head spin.
It really is something else.
We are doing a deep dive into a specific Inspection of Public Records Act request, an IPRA request that was filed regarding the Eunice Police Department.
And this isn't just a simple request and response.
Not at all. And honestly, this story, it's a thriller. It has everything. It has a blanket denial. It has a late-night legal showdown.
And it has this bizarre, truly bizarre sequence of events on a single Wednesday afternoon in December of 2025 that, well, I still can't quite get my head around it.
We've been calling it the Schrodinger's record paradox around the studio.
I love that name. It's perfect. Schrodinger's record.
Because for about 2 hours on December 17th, a document, it both didn't exist, legally speaking, and was then suddenly sitting in an inbox.
It was in a state of quantum superposition?
It was. The city told the citizen, and I'm not exaggerating here, they told her to get a lawyer because the records were exempt.
And
then, before the sun even went down, handed over the very record they claimed they couldn't release.
It is a perfect, a perfect case study in what we call administrative resistance.
Or maybe just chaos.
Or chaos. But either way, it matters because IPRA, that act, that law, it's your receipt.
It's your receipt, yes.
It's the only way you know if the authority you gave the government, your tax dollars, is being used the way they say it is.
So, settle in. We're going to unpack this piece by piece. We're going to look at what was asked for, how the city tried to hide it, and the moment the dam finally broke.
And this whole story, it really centers on one specific citizen.
It does. We're focusing on a request from Eunice.
Aisha. She is absolutely the protagonist of today's story.
She is. And to understand the drama, you really have to understand the timeline. This all kicks off back on November 23rd, 2025.
Which was a Sunday, I believe.
A Sunday afternoon, 5:12 p.m. to be exact. Eunice sits down at her computer, and she files an IPRA request. Now, I've seen a lot of these requests.
We both have.
And usually, they're pretty vague. People write things like, send me the police report from last night.
Right, they're just kind of fishing.
But this was different.
Oh, this is surgical.
It really was. She sends this request to the city clerk, Candy Brito, and the subject line alone tells you everything. It says, all complaints against EPD officers in March 2025.
Just that subject line tells you she isn't fishing blindly, she's hunting for something specific.
Right, and she asks for any and all complaints, but she doesn't stop there. This is where it gets really interesting. She lists out formal complaints, informal complaints.
Handwritten notes.
Written notes, verbal complaints that were documented later, texts, emails. She is casting a net that is designed to catch every single molecule of information.
And she is so specific about who the complaints would have been sent to. She explicitly names city manager Shannon Cummins.
And she names the HR manager, Candelaria Brito.
Yes.
So why do you think she did that? Why name specific people? What's the strategy there?
Well, it's a tactic to prevent the I didn't know defense or the we couldn't find it defense.
Ah, okay.
By naming the city manager and the HR manager, she is drawing a circle around the leadership. She's basically saying, I am not just asking about some file in the police department basement. I am asking what you, the leadership, knew and when you knew it.
So you can't just pass the buck down the chain.
You can't. You can't say, oh, the police chief handles that. No. She's saying, I want to see the emails that landed in your inbox, city manager.
And the time frame is interesting, too. She asks for records from January 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2025.
But then she adds this little note.
Yeah, this little parenthetical note that says, with particular interest in the month of March 2025.
March 2025. I mean, if you live in Eunice, if you've been following local news, you know that month.
We've called it the month of fire on this show before.
Exactly. That was when the department was, for lack of a better word, melting down.
It was. You had Officer Hawkins, who we are going to talk about a lot today, filing a racism complaint. You had the timesheet investigation starting up.
It was completely chaotic. So when Lyle asks for complaints in March, she isn't guessing. She knows there is smoke. She is looking for the fire.
There is one more detail in her request that I think is brilliant. It's a legal strategy. She puts this sentence right in the request.
Let me guess. It's about redactions.
You got it. She writes, I agree to redaction of lawfully protected information, like medical info or confidential informants.
That is the sign of someone who has done this before or has had very good advice.
Explain that to us. Why is that one sentence so important?
Okay, so usually a city can deny a request if a document contains any piece of sensitive info. Let's say a complaint has a victim's social security number on it.
Right.
The city can just say, oh, sorry, we can't release this document because it has private data, full stop. Denied.
They throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly. They use one tiny piece of private info to hide the entire document, which might be 99% public information.
Okay, I see.
But by consenting to redaction up front, Lyle is cutting off that escape route. She is saying, I don't want the social security number. I get it. Get out a black marker, cross it out, and give me the rest.
She's demanding the non-exempt portion.
Yes. The nature of the complaint, the officer's name, the date, the stuff the public has a right to know.
She is basically saying, I know the rules, and I am playing by them. Now it's your turn. It's a very savvy move.
It's an incredibly savvy move. And yet, despite all that precision, despite the clear legal framework she laid out, the city decided to play a different game.
The waiting game, and then the denial game.
Right. So the request goes in on November 23rd. The city, by law, has deadlines. They have to respond.
And they take their time. We fast forward to December 8th, 2025. It's a Monday. It's evening, around 6:15 p.m. The city clerk, Candy Brito, hits send on a response.
And the email is just a few words. It says, good evening. Your request has been fulfilled. Thank you for your patience.
Fulfilled. Now, in normal English, if I order a pizza and the app says fulfilled, I expect a pepperoni pie at my door.
Right. You expect to get the thing you asked for.
But in the city of Eunice, fulfilled apparently has a very different definition.
It appears fulfilled means we read your email and have decided to give you absolutely nothing.
Because attached to that email isn't a zip file of complaints.
No.
It isn't a stack of PDFs.
It's a letter. A single letter.
And the gist of the letter is just no.
It's what I call the classic non-denial denial. The letter acknowledges the request, it repeats what she asked for, and then it just drops the hammer. It says, after reviewing your request, we determined that the records requested are exempt from disclosure.
Exempt. The magic word for any government trying to hide something.
Mm.
And they cite a specific statute, right? This NMSA 1978, Section 1421C.
Right, 1421C. If you are a transparency advocate in New Mexico, that statute is your nemesis. It is the one that gets used and abused more than any other.
Let's break this down for the listener because the legal code can be dense.
Yeah.
What is 1421C actually supposed to do? What's its purpose?
So, in theory, the law is designed to protect letters or memoranda that are matters of opinion in personnel files.
Okay, so like a performance review.
Exactly. Yeah. Think about a performance review. If your boss writes, I think Bob is a little lazy and needs to work on his punctuality, that is an opinion. It's subjective.
Sure, and you don't necessarily want that on the front page of the newspaper.
Mm?
It allows managers to be honest with employees without fear of defamation suits or, public shaming.
Precisely. It protects the internal HR process so people can have frank conversations about job performance. But here is the rub. Here is where the city's argument falls apart.
What's that?
Lyle didn't ask for performance reviews. She asked for complaints against police officers.
And that's different.
It's completely different. If I, a citizen, call the police station and say, Officer Smith just screamed at me and shoved me for no reason, is that an opinion in a personnel file?
I wouldn't think so. That sounds like a factual report of an event.
It's a statement of fact from an eyewitness. But the city of Eunice is arguing, yes, it is. They are arguing that any complaint, once it goes into an officer's file, magically transforms into a matter of opinion regarding that officer's performance.
But that seems incredibly dangerous. That logic means any allegation of misconduct, no matter how serious, can be hidden just by labeling it a personnel opinion.
It is an incredibly aggressive and, I would argue, legally shaky interpretation of the law. Most courts in most states say that citizen complaints about public officials are matters of public concern.
Because it's about how they're using their power.
Exactly. They are not just internal HR beefs. They are reports of how the government is treating the people it serves.
But the city used this statute to issue what's called a blanket denial. They didn't say, here are 5 complaints and we redacted the opinions.
No.
They said, everything you asked for, every text, every email, every note from March is an opinion, therefore you get nothing.
It's a shield. They are using 1421C to turn the lights off on the entire month of March at the EPD.
And honestly, I think 99 times out of 100, that probably works.
Yeah.
The average citizen gets the letter, they see the scary statute number, they assume the city's lawyers know the law better than they do, and they give up.
That is the bet the city is making. They are betting on the requester's fatigue and intimidation.
But they bet wrong on Isha Lyle.
They really, really did.
Because she didn't just accept it. She didn't go away. That same night, December 8th, she goes right back to work.
And you have to look at the timestamp on this. 11:47 p.m.
Nearly midnight on a Monday. She is burning the midnight oil. She writes what she calls a request for reconsideration.
And this isn't just a grumpy email saying, I disagree.
No, this is a legal dismantling of their entire argument.
She calls their bluff. She points out exactly what we were just discussing, that 1421C does not create a blanket exemption for misconduct complaints. She writes, and I'm quoting here, it does not apply to third-party complaints, citizen complaints, tort claim notices, or external allegations of misconduct.
She is literally teaching them the law in an email at midnight. But then she drops the bomb.
The known responsive tort claim.
This is the moment the whole story turns. Up until this point, the city could pretend these records didn't exist or that they were just vague internal notes.
They had plausible deniability, or so they thought.
Right. But Lyle writes this sentence. Known responsive tort claim confirms records exist.
She doesn't just say she thinks a record exists. She cites a specific document, a notice of tort claim in New Mexico's civil rights claim dated March 13th, 2025.
She names the law firm that sent it, the law offices of Israel Chavez. She names the subject, a minor child who was allegedly harmed by an EPD officer.
She is holding up a photograph of the document and saying, I know you have this. I know exactly when you got it, and I know it is not a personnel opinion. The game is up.
For those who might not know, explain what a tort claim notice actually is. Why is it so different from a performance review?
Okay, so a tort claim notice is basically a legal warning shot. It is a formal legal document served to a government entity like the city of Eunice saying, we believe you or your employee injured us, and we are preparing to sue you.
So it's the first step in a lawsuit.
It is the mandatory first step before you can sue the government in New Mexico. It's a legal notice. It's a public document.
So it's not an internal memo from a boss about being late. It's an external legal threat from a lawyer.
Exactly. It is a public record of a potential liability to the taxpayers. You cannot hide a tort claim under the personnel opinion exemption. It just doesn't fit. It's like trying to hide an elephant under a napkin.
So Lyle is holding up the napkin and saying, I see the elephant's foot.
And I know its name. And she gives them an ultimatum. She gives them 3 business days to fix their mistake and provide the record.
So now the city is in a real bind. They've already gone on record denying everything. Now Lyle has proven they are withholding at least one document that absolutely, unequivocally should be public.
The clock is ticking for them.
So Candy Brito responds on December 10th. It's a short email. She says, your request for reconsideration is being considered. Please allow us 3 business days to verify what can and cannot be provided.
Verify. I love that word choice in this context.
What does that word tell you?
It's a stall tactic, first of all, but
Right.
It's also an admission of panic. If they had done the job right the first time, if they had actually reviewed the records for the March timeframe before denying them on December 8th, they wouldn't need to verify anything.
They'd already know.
They would already know. This is the sound of people scrambling. It's the sound of, oh no, she knows about the tort. What do we do now? Call the attorney.
The clock is ticking. She gave them 3 days. And that brings us to the most interesting afternoon in recent Eunice history.
I think so.
Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. The afternoon of confusion.
or the afternoon of whoops.
Let's walk through this minute by minute, because the timestamps here, they tell the whole story.
It all starts at 2:37 p.m.
2:37 p.m. That post-lunch slump. The city clerk, Candy Brito, sends an email to Aisha Lyle, subject line, RE, request for reconsideration.
And the email body is very short, very polite. Thank you for your patience. Have a great day.
Have a great day. And attached to that email is a file. It's called denial reconsideration letter.pdf.
That is not a promising file name.
No. And when you open it, it's a brick wall. The city writes, quote, the city affirms its response.
So they are doubling down. After 2 days of verifying, they're sticking to the original denial.
They're not just sticking to it, they're expanding on it.
Right.
They cite the opinion rule again, but now they throw in new justifications. They mention internal administrative or law enforcement investigations. They mention privacy interests.
They're throwing every exemption they can find at the wall to see what sticks. This is the kitchen sink approach to denial.
And then comes the conclusion, the part where they essentially tell her where to go.
The final paragraph, it's a classic. It says, pursuant to NMSA 1978-14-11, you retain the right to seek enforcement of IPRA by application to the district court or by submitting a written complaint to the Office of the Attorney General.
Which is legal speak for.
We are not giving you this document. We are done talking to you. If you want it, get a lawyer and sue us.
That is the administrative door slamming shut. It's locked. It's bolted. At 2:37 p.m., the city of Eunice has legally certified in writing that they will not release these records. End of story.
That is their official final position.
Okay, so that's the stance. Hardline, no transparency, sue us if you dare.
Right.
Now, look at the clock. 2:37 p.m., 1 hour passes, it's 3:37 p.m., then another 45 minutes tick by.
It is now 4:22 p.m., same day, same afternoon.
Another email hits Aisha Lyle's inbox from Candy Brito.
Subject line is REIPRA request.
The message body is even shorter this time. Just, please see attached. Thank you for your patience.
And the attachment is a file named comprecons 12/8/2025.pdf.
And what is inside this PDF, my friend?
It is the tort claim, the exact document Lyle asked for, the exact document regarding the minor child and Officer Hawkins, the exact document that less than 2 hours ago they told her she would have to sue the city to ever see.
Let's just pause and let that sink in for everyone listening.
It's unbelievable.
At 2:37 p.m., the official, legally vetted position of the city of Eunice is, this is exempt, go to court. At 4:22 p.m., the official position is, here's the PDF.
It is administrative whiplash. It is a complete 180-degree turn in 105 minutes.
What on earth do you think happened inside that building between 2:37 and 4:22?
We can only speculate, of course, but it feels like a breakdown in communication followed by a sudden, dawning realization of extreme legal liability.
Walk us through that theory. What did that look like in practice?
Okay, so here's my guess. The clerk, maybe following instructions from earlier, sends the denial at 2:37. Just deny it all, but then maybe the city attorney or someone in the legal department who is actually paying attention sees that sent email.
Or they finally read Lyle's reconsideration email carefully for the first time.
Exactly. And they see that she explicitly cited the Israel Chavez tort claim. She named the law firm. She knows what she's talking about.
And any lawyer worth their salt knows you cannot legally withhold a tort claim notice under that exemption.
Not a chance. It is a slam dunk IPRA violation. If Lyle takes that 2.37 denial letter to the Attorney General, the city will lose. And they will lose badly. They will be forced to pay fines. They will have to pay her legal fees. It's an open and shut case.
So someone, somewhere in City Hall, hit the panic button.
A giant red panic button. I imagine a conversation like, you sent the denial, recall it. Wait, you can't recall an email. Just send her the document. Send it now before she calls a lawyer.
It really feels that chaotic. And there's even evidence of the chaos in the file itself, isn't there?
Yes. This is the funniest part. If it wasn't so sad for the taxpayers, the PDF that they sent at 4:22 p.m., it has a cover letter.
Okay.
And that cover letter still says, the city declines to withdraw its December 8th response.
Wait. Get that straight. The letter attached to the document says they aren't giving her the document.
Yes. The cover letter attached to the tort claim literally says, we affirm our denial and we are not giving what you asked for. And then you scroll down one page and there's the thing they said they weren't giving her.
It's schizophrenic. The text says no, but the attachment says yes.
It proves they didn't even have time to rewrite the cover letter properly. They just grabbed the denial letter they already wrote, slapped the tort claim PDF onto the back of it, and hit send. It is the definition of a panic scramble.
It's the Schrodinger's record.
Yeah.
It is both exempt and disclosed. It is both denied and attached in the same email.
And this matters for everyone listening. It matters because it shows how the system works, or rather how it doesn't work. If Aisha Lyle hadn't known the specific name of that tort claim, if she hadn't cited the date and the lawyer,
The 2:37 p.m. denial would have been the final word. That would have been the end of the story.
she would have been told no. She would have assumed the documents were truly exempt under some complex legal rule, and she would have gone about her life. The truth would have stayed in the dark.
Transparency shouldn't require you to be a detective. You shouldn't have to already know the answer to the question to be allowed to ask it.
But in Eunice, on December 17th, 2025, apparently you did. You had to call their bluff.
So thanks to that chaotic afternoon, thanks to the 4:22 p.m. panic email, we now have the document. We have the strange tort.
And now that we have it, we need to talk about what's actually in it, because it becomes pretty clear why the city might have wanted to keep this under wraps.
This is not a boring slip and fall claim on an icy sidewalk outside City Hall.
No, this is serious.
Okay, so let's pull up the document. Notice of tort claim, an NM civil rights claim, filed on March 13th, 2025.
And again, a standard disclaimer for everyone listening. A tort claim is a set of allegations. It is one side of the story, the plaintiff's side. It has not been proven in a court of law. We are reading the claims, not a verdict.
Right, these are allegations. But they are heavy allegations. The claim is filed on behalf of a minor, a child. We're not going to use his name on the air. We'll just refer to him as the minor or the student.
And the claim is filed against the city of Eunice and specifically against Officer Hawkins.
Officer Hawkins. That name just keeps popping up in everything related to the EPD during this time.
It does. It's a recurring theme in the whole EPD saga of 2025.
So the incident itself, the claim says this happened on or about October 1st, 2024.
But the claim wasn't filed until March of 2025. That's a almost 6-month gap.
The claim says the child first reported the incident to his father on March 10th, 2025. So why the delay? Any ideas?
Well, the claim doesn't explicitly say, but in cases like this involving minors and authority figures like police officers, fear is a huge factor. A child might be terrified that if they tell, the officer will come back, or they get in more trouble.
They might not think anyone will believe them.
Right. It often takes a long time and sometimes a triggering event for a kid to feel safe enough to finally speak up.
So March 10th, the dad finds out. March 13th, the lawyer files the claim. That moved extremely fast once the dad knew.
Very fast, which suggests the father took it very seriously.
Let's look at the allegations of the event itself. The location is listed as Main Street, between Avenue M and Avenue P.
Right in the heart of town, not some back alley.
The claim alleges that Officer Hawkins approached the minor. It says he confronted and unlawfully detained him.
Unlawfully detained. That's a key legal phrase. It implies there was no reasonable suspicion of a crime. There was no legal basis for the stop.
And then it escalates. The claim uses words like excessive and unreasonable force. It says intimidation. It alleges the child was seized and harassed without legal justification.
But the part that really hits you is the damages section, the alleged injuries.
Yeah, I'm looking at that paragraph now. It's tough to read.
Read that out for us.
It says the minor, quote, developed a stutter shortly after the incident, which had not existed prior.
A stutter?
And, quote, symptoms consistent with PTSD,
Hey,
post-traumatic stress disorder.
just think about that for a second. We aren't talking about a bruise on the arm. We aren't talking about a scrape that heals in a week.
No.
We are talking about a psychological impact so severe, according to this claim, that it physically altered the way this child speaks.
That is a haunting image.
Yeah.
To be so scared, so traumatized by an encounter that you lose your voice, that you can't speak properly anymore.
And if that allegation is true, it suggests an interaction that went way, way beyond policing. That is trauma.
And this document, this description of a child developing a stutter, this is what the city was holding on to. This is what they had in their hands on March 13th, 2025.
And you have to remember the context of that specific month. We've talked about Officer Hawkins before on this show.
Right. In that same month, March 2025, Officer Hawkins was filing his own complaints. He was telling the city administration that he was a victim of racism within the department.
He was in the middle of the timesheet scandal. He was a central figure in the internal turmoil.
So just picture the city manager's desk in March. On one side of the desk, you have Hawkins claiming he is being victimized and mistreated by others.
And on the other side of the desk, you have this tort claim landing with a thud saying Hawkins himself mistreated a child so badly that the child now has PTSD and a stutter.
It is a mess, a complete and utter tangled web of accusations and counter-accusations.
And from that perspective, you can almost see why the city might want to bury it. If they release this tort claim, it massively complicates their internal investigation into Hawkins' own complaints.
It makes the city look liable. It makes the department look completely out of control.
But hiding it always makes it worse.
Because now, it doesn't just look like a bad incident with a rogue officer. It looks like a cover-up.
Exactly. When you deny the public record at 2:37 p.m., you are acting like you have something to hide. Even if you reverse course and release it at 4:22 p.m., the damage to your credibility is done. You have shown your instinct.
And your instinct was secrecy. The instinct was protect the city's image, not inform the public.
And that is why Aisha Lyle matters so much in this story, because she forced the instinct to change. She held their feet to the fire and forced their hand.
So here we are. We have the tort claim. We have these very serious allegations of the stutter, the Main Street detention, the use of force.
But there's always a but.
As you said at the top, these are just allegations. We have the lawyer's letter. We have the city's administrative fumble. But we don't have the other side of the story yet.
We need to see the evidence. We need to know, did it actually happen the way the claim says it did? Was Officer Hawkins completely out of line? Or is a context we're missing?
Was there body cam footage of this encounter? Were there witnesses on Main Street that afternoon? What did Officer Hawkins write in his report, if he wrote one?
That is the next step of the investigation, moving from the allegation to the evidence.
And that is exactly what we are going to do next. We have been digging. We have been pulling more threads on this story. And let me tell you, the picture gets even more complicated from here.
It always does.
So consider this deep dive part 1, the paper trail chapter. We established that the city tried to hide this. We established what the very serious accusation is.
Next time, we start the hunt for the truth.
Next time on the deep dive, we're going to line up these allegations from the tort claim against the actual evidence we've been able to find. We're going to try and answer the question, what really happened on Main Street?
You are not going to want to miss that one.
But for today, as you go about your day in Eunice, take this with you. The city told a citizen to get a lawyer to see a public record. She didn't have to. She stood her ground. She used the facts. And because she did, we all now know about the stutter. We all now know about the claim.
The system can work, but sometimes you have to push it hard.
And to the folks at City Hall who might be listening, and we know you're listening.
We see the timestamps.
2:37 p.m. you said no. 4:22 p.m. you said yes. We're watching, and we're not going anywhere.
Transparency isn't optional. It's a price of public trust.
This has been a deep dive on Cardinal Radio, keeping an eye on Eunice because someone has to. I'm your host.
And I'm the expert.
Stay curious, Eunice. We'll see you next time.